Easy English Podcast. Topic: talking about favorite food.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to our Easy English Podcast. I'm Emma.
And I'm Alex. Thank you for listening today.
Today we are going to talk about something everyone loves.
Yes, we are talking about food.
Food is always a fun topic because everyone has favorite foods.
That's true. Emma, let me ask you a question. What is your favorite food?
That's a difficult question. I enjoy many different foods. But if I must choose one, I would say burgers.
Burgers are a great choice. Why do you like burgers so much?
I like burgers because they are simple and delicious. A good burger has bread, meat, cheese, vegetables, and sauce. Everything together tastes amazing.
That sounds delicious. Do you prefer homemade burgers or burgers from restaurants?
I usually prefer homemade burgers. When you cook at home, you can control the ingredients.
That's true. You can choose fresh vegetables and good quality meat.
Exactly. Also, cooking at home can be fun.
Do you cook burgers often?
Maybe once or twice a month. What about you, Alex? What is your favorite food?
My favorite food is pizza.
Pizza is one of the most popular foods in the world.
Yes, and there are so many different types of pizza.
That's true. What kind of pizza do you like the most?
I really enjoy pepperoni pizza. I love the combination of cheese, tomato sauce, and pepperoni.
That sounds really good. Do you eat pizza often?
Maybe once a week. Sometimes I cook pizza at home, but usually I order pizza.
Ordering pizza is very convenient.
Yes, especially when you are tired after work.
That's true. After a long day, cooking can feel difficult.
Emma, do you enjoy cooking?
Yes, I like cooking. It helps me relax.
What kind of food do you usually cook?
I often cook simple meals like pasta, rice with vegetables, or grilled chicken.
That sounds healthy.
I try to eat healthy food most of the time.
That's good, but sometimes fast food is also enjoyable.
Of course, balance is important.
Exactly. Eating healthy food is good, but enjoying your favorite foods is also important.
Speaking of favorite foods, what is your favorite snack?
I really like chips and chocolate.
That sounds tasty.
What about you?
I like ice cream.
Ice cream is amazing, especially in summer.
Yes, my favorite flavor is chocolate.
I prefer vanilla or strawberry.
That's interesting.
Emma, do you usually eat breakfast?
Yes, I do. Breakfast is important for me.
What do you usually eat for breakfast?
I usually eat eggs, toast, and sometimes fruit.
That sounds like a healthy breakfast.
What about you?
I often eat cereal or yogurt.
That's also a good breakfast.
Food really plays an important role in our daily lives.
Yes, it gives us energy and brings people together.
Many people enjoy eating with friends and family.
That's true. Food tastes better when you share it with people you like.
Absolutely.
All right, everyone, that's the end of part 1 of our conversation about favorite foods.
In the next part, we will talk about restaurants and eating out.
Stay with us. Welcome back, everyone, to part 2 of our Easy English podcast.
In the first part, we talked about our favorite foods.
Yes, and now we will talk about restaurants and eating out.
Emma, do you like eating at restaurants?
Yes, I do. Going to a restaurant can be very enjoyable.
What do you like about restaurants?
I like the atmosphere. Restaurants can feel cozy and relaxing.
That's true. Also, you don't have to cook.
Exactly. And you don't have to wash the dishes.
That might be the best part.
Yes, washing dishes is not very fun.
Emma, how often do you eat at restaurants?
Maybe once or twice a week. Sometimes with friends, sometimes with family.
What kind of restaurants do you usually go to?
I like small local restaurants. They often have very delicious food.
Do you prefer fast food restaurants or traditional restaurants?
I prefer traditional restaurants. The food is usually healthier and more fresh.
That's a good point.
What about you, Alex? Do you enjoy eating at restaurants?
Yes, I like restaurants too, especially when I want to try new foods.
Trying new foods can be exciting.
Yes, sometimes you discover something new that you really like.
Do you have a favorite restaurant?
Yes, there is a small Italian restaurant near my house.
That sounds nice.
They make amazing pasta and pizza.
Italian food is very popular.
Yes, many people love Italian cuisine.
When you go to a restaurant, do you usually try something new or order your favorite meal?
That's a good question. Sometimes I try something new, but often I order my favorite dish.
Why do you choose your favorite dish?
Because I know it will taste good.
That's true. Sometimes people don't want to take a risk.
Exactly.
Do you like going to restaurants with friends?
Yes, eating with friends is very fun.
Conversations are always better when there is good food.
I agree.
Also, restaurants are a great place to celebrate special events
Like birthdays,
or anniversaries.
or simply meeting friends after a long time.
That's right.
Emma, what is the most interesting restaurant you have ever visited?
I once visited a restaurant where the lights were very dim and the atmosphere was very quiet.
That sounds unusual.
Yes, it was a very calm and relaxing place.
Did you enjoy it?
Yes, the food was excellent.
That's the most important thing.
Good food always makes a place special.
Absolutely.
All right, everyone, that was part 2 of our podcast about food and restaurants.
In the next part, we will talk about different foods around the world.
Stay with us for the final part. Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to our English Learning Podcast.
Hi, everyone. I'm Alex.
And I'm Emma. Today we are going to talk about our morning routines.
Yes, everyone starts their day differently,
Some people wake up early and feel energetic.
and some people need a lot of coffee before they can function.
That sounds like you, Alex.
Maybe a little.
So, Alex, what time do you usually wake up?
I usually wake up at 6:30 in the morning.
Wow, that's pretty early.
Yes, but sometimes it's difficult.
Do you use an alarm?
Yes, I always set an alarm on my phone.
Same here. Without an alarm, I would probably sleep much longer.
What time do you wake up?
I usually wake up around 7 o'clock.
That's a nice time.
The first thing I do is stretch a little.
Stretching is very healthy.
Yes, it helps my body wake up.
The first thing I do is turn off my alarm and check the time.
Do you check your phone immediately?
Sometimes I check messages or the weather.
Many people do that in the morning.
After that, I go to the bathroom and wash my face.
Same here.
Do you brush your teeth right away?
Yes, always.
Good habit.
Then I usually make coffee.
Coffee is very important in the morning.
I completely agree.
What kind of coffee do you like?
I like black coffee.
No milk.
Sometimes milk, but usually just black coffee.
I prefer coffee with milk.
Do you eat breakfast?
Yes, but something simple.
Like what?
Usually eggs or oatmeal.
Oatmeal is very healthy.
Yes, and it gives you energy.
I usually eat toast or yogurt.
That sounds delicious.
Many people skip breakfast because they are busy.
That's true.
But breakfast is very important.
It helps you start the day with energy.
After breakfast, I usually read something.
What do you read?
Sometimes a book or the news.
That's a great morning habit.
What about you?
I like to listen to music.
Music can really improve your mood.
Yes, it makes mornings more enjoyable.
I think the morning routine is very important.
It really sets the tone for the day.
Exactly. After breakfast, I usually start planning my day carefully.
That sounds like a very productive morning habit.
Yes, planning helps me feel calm and organized.
I think many people forget to plan their day.
Do you usually plan your day, Alex?
Sometimes I write a small to-do list.
A to-do list is very helpful and simple.
It helps me remember important tasks during the day.
What is usually the first task on your list?
Usually I start with checking my emails.
Emails in the morning can take a lot of time.
Yes, sometimes there are many messages to read.
Do you answer every email immediately in the morning?
Not always, because some emails need more time.
That is a smart way to manage your time.
What do you usually do after planning your day?
I often open the window to get fresh air.
Fresh morning air always feels very refreshing.
Yes, it helps my mind wake up faster.
Do you also drink water in the morning?
Yes, I drink a big glass of water.
Many doctors say drinking water is very important.
It helps your body wake up naturally.
That sounds like a healthy morning routine.
After that, I sometimes do light exercise.
So what kind of exercise do you usually do?
Sometimes I do simple stretching exercises.
Stretching is great after sleeping all night.
Yes, it relaxes the muscles and improves energy.
I sometimes go for a short morning walk,
Walking in the morning sounds very peaceful.
especially when the streets are still quiet.
Quiet mornings are my favorite part of the day.
Do you listen to music during your morning walk?
Sometimes I listen to calm, relaxing music.
Music can really change your morning mood.
Yes, good music can make the morning happier.
Do you ever listen to podcasts in the morning?
Yes, sometimes I listen to learning podcasts.
That is a great way to learn new things.
Podcasts are perfect while doing simple activities.
Like walking, cooking, or cleaning the house.
Exactly, you can learn while doing something else.
Many people learn English through podcasts now,
Yes, listening practice is very important.
especially when learning a new language.
Do you practice English in the morning?
Sometimes I read English articles online.
Reading in the morning can train your brain.
It helps improve vocabulary and understanding.
Do you prefer reading or listening practice?
I enjoy listening practice more than reading.
That makes sense for many language learners.
Listening helps you understand natural conversations,
Yes, like real conversations between friends.
exactly like our podcast conversations.
Hopefully, our listeners enjoy learning with us.
I hope our conversations feel natural and friendly,
Learning should always feel relaxed and enjoyable.
especially in the morning when people start their day.
Yes, mornings are a great time for learning.
Your brain feels fresh and ready to learn.
That is why many students study in the morning.
Morning study sessions can be very effective.
Do you work in the morning, Alex?
Yes, I usually start working around 9.
That gives you time for a calm morning routine.
Exactly, I do not like rushing in mornings.
Rushing in the morning creates unnecessary stress.
A calm morning helps the whole day feel better.
I completely agree with that idea. After a calm morning routine, I usually feel more productive.
I feel productive too, especially after my second cup of coffee.
Second cup? I thought you only drank one.
That was before today started.
So how many cups do you usually drink?
Honestly, sometimes 3 cups before noon.
3 cups of coffee sounds a little dangerous.
It is only dangerous if the coffee disappears.
So your biggest fear is an empty coffee cup.
Exactly. That situation is very serious.
Maybe we should start a coffee emergency service,
That would be the fastest growing business.
especially on Monday mornings everywhere.
Monday mornings need extra coffee and extra patience.
I think many people agree with that idea.
Some people even say Monday feels like a boss level.
Like a difficult level in a video game.
Yes, and coffee is the power up.
That is actually a funny comparison.
Without coffee, I move very slowly in the morning.
Like a sleepy turtle walking to work.
Exactly! A very slow and confused turtle.
Do you ever wake up before your alarm?
Sometimes, but I always check the clock immediately.
Why do you check the clock so quickly?
Because maybe I still have 30 more minutes.
That feeling is the best feeling ever.
Yes, those extra minutes feel like a gift.
But sometimes you cannot fall asleep again.
Then I just stare at the ceiling quietly.
Thinking about breakfast, probably.
Actually thinking about pancakes and coffee.
Pancakes sound like a perfect breakfast.
Especially on a slow weekend morning.
Weekends definitely have the best mornings.
Yes, no alarms and no rushing anywhere.
You can wake up slowly and peacefully.
Maybe drink coffee while watching the sunrise.
That sounds like a very relaxing morning routine.
Sometimes I also cook breakfast on weekends.
Are you a good cook, Alex?
I am a very confident breakfast cook.
What does that mean exactly?
It means I can cook eggs successfully.
Only eggs?
Sometimes toast if I feel very brave.
Wow, that is impressive cooking skill.
Thank you. I practiced for many years.
I think cooking toast needs special talent.
Especially when you burn the toast accidentally.
Burnt toast is a classic breakfast problem.
Yes, but coffee can fix that problem.
Coffee seems to fix many problems.
That is why people love coffee so much.
Do you ever skip your morning routine?
Sometimes when I wake up very late.
Then everything becomes fast and chaotic.
Yes, I run around the house quickly.
Looking for keys, phone, and everything else.
Exactly, and somehow my keys always disappear.
Keys have a secret ability to hide.
I think they move when nobody is watching.
Maybe they are practicing hide and seek.
And they always win the game.
That is definitely true for my keys.
A calm morning helps avoid that chaos.
Yes, slow mornings usually create better days.
That is why a good routine matters.
Small habits can change your whole day.
Even something simple like drinking water.
Or opening the window for fresh air.
Or listening to a relaxing podcast.
Like this one right now.
Exactly. The best podcast for your morning routine.
We hope our listeners are smiling right now.
And maybe drinking coffee with us.
If you are drinking coffee right now, cheers.
Cheers to a peaceful and productive morning.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to our English Learning Podcast.
Hello, everyone. Today we will talk about job interviews and how to answer common questions.
Many people feel nervous before a job interview,
Yes, especially if the interview is in English.
but preparation can help a lot.
Today we will talk about some common interview questions and give simple advice.
Let's start with the question many interviewers ask first.
The question is, tell me about yourself.
This question sounds easy, but many people answer it in the wrong way.
Some people start talking about their entire life story.
But interviewers usually want a short and professional answer.
It is better to talk about your experience and your goals.
For example, you could say, I recently finished my studies in marketing and I have experience working with customers.
Then you can add something about your skills.
For example, you might say, I enjoy helping people and solving problems,
This type of answer is clear and professional.
and it helps the interviewer understand your background.
Another very common interview question is, why do you want this job?
This question helps the company understand your motivation.
Before the interview, it is good to learn a little about the company.
Yes, that will help you give a stronger answer.
For example, you might say, I want this job because I like working with people and I respect the values of your company.
You can also mention how your skills can help the company.
Employers like to hear that you can contribute to the team.
Another question interviewers often ask is about your strengths.
This is a good chance to show your skills.
You can talk about communication, teamwork, or problem solving.
For example, you might say, one of my strengths is communication because I enjoy talking with customers.
You could also mention teamwork.
Many companies want employees who work well with others.
For example, you might say, I enjoy working in a team because collaboration helps create better ideas.
When you talk about strengths, try to sound confident but natural.
Yes, you do not need to exaggerate your abilities.
Just be honest and clear.
Another question that sometimes surprises people is the question about weaknesses.
Many people feel uncomfortable answering this question.
But the best strategy is to mention a small weakness and show that you are improving.
For example, you might say, sometimes I focus too much on small details, but I am learning to manage my time better.
This type of answer shows honesty and growth.
It also shows that you are aware of your habits.
Preparation is very important before an interview.
Practicing answers can make you feel more relaxed.
You can practice speaking out loud.
You can also practice with a friend.
Another good tip is to speak slowly and clearly.
Interviewers appreciate clear communication.
And remember that interviews are conversations.
They are not tests where you must be perfect,
The interviewer simply wants to understand who you are.
and they want to know if you can work well in their team.
Confidence and honesty are always important.
With practice, you can feel much more comfortable in interviews.
That is all for this part of our podcast.
In the next part, we will talk about more interview questions and useful answers.
Thank you for listening and keep practicing your English.
Today, we continue talking about job interviews.
In the previous part, we discussed some common questions.
Now we will talk about a few more important ones.
Another question interviewers often ask is about work experience.
The interviewer might say, can you describe your previous job?
When answering this question, try to be clear and simple.
Talk about your responsibilities and what you learned.
For example, you could say, I worked as a sales assistant in a retail store.
Then you can explain your daily tasks.
You might say, I helped customers find products and answered their questions.
You can also mention something you improved or learned.
For example, you might say, this job helped me improve my communication skills.
Employers like to hear about your growth.
Another common question is, how do you handle difficult situations?
This question helps employers understand your attitude.
They want to know how you solve problems.
A good answer should show calm thinking.
For example, you might say, I try to stay calm and understand the situation.
Then I look for a solution that helps everyone.
This shows maturity and responsibility.
Another interesting question is about teamwork.
Many companies care a lot about teamwork.
The interviewer might ask, do you enjoy working in a team?
A positive answer is usually a good idea.
For example, you might say, I enjoy teamwork because different ideas create better results.
You can also say that teamwork helps people learn from each other.
Employers want people who cooperate well.
Another question you might hear is, where do you see yourself in 5 years?
This question is about your goals.
The company wants to know if you plan to grow.
A good answer shows ambition, but also realism.
For example, you might say, in 5 years, I hope to develop my skills and take more responsibility.
This shows motivation and commitment.
Some interviews also include questions about challenges.
For example, the interviewer might ask, tell me about a challenge you faced.
In this case, it is good to describe the situation and the solution.
For example, you might say, once I had to help an unhappy customer.
I listened carefully to the problem and offered a solution.
In the end, the customer felt satisfied.
Stories like this show your problem-solving skills.
Preparation can help you answer these questions more easily.
Before the interview, think about your experiences.
Try to remember situations where you solved problems.
These examples can be very helpful during interviews.
Another important tip is to listen carefully to the question.
Do not rush your answer.
Take a moment to think.
A short pause is completely normal.
Clear answers are better than fast answers.
Confidence grows with practice.
The more you practice, the easier interviews become.
That brings us to the end of part 2.
In the next part, we will talk about salary questions and final interview tips.
Thank you for listening and keep practicing English.
Another question many people worry about is the salary question.
Yes, this question can make people feel uncomfortable.
The interviewer might ask, "What salary do you expect?"
Before the interview, it is good to research the average salary for the job.
This helps you give a realistic answer.
You do not need to give a very exact number.
You can give a range instead.
For example, you might say, I am looking for a salary between this range, depending on the responsibilities.
This answer sounds flexible and professional.
Some candidates feel afraid to talk about salary.
But remember, salary is a normal part of the conversation.
Companies expect this question.
Another important moment in an interview is when the interviewer asks about pressure.
They may ask, how do you work under pressure?
Employers want to know if you can stay calm during busy situations.
A good answer shows that you stay organized.
For example, you might say, "I try to prioritize tasks and focus on one problem at a time."
This shows that you can manage stress.
Another question sometimes appears near the end of the interview.
The interviewer may ask, why should we hire you?
This question is your chance to summarize your strengths.
You can briefly mention your skills and your motivation.
For example, you might say, "I believe my communication skills and my positive attitude can help your team succeed."
Short and confident answers work best.
Another small detail is body language.
Yes, body language is very important during interviews.
Try to sit straight and look attentive.
Eye contact shows confidence.
A friendly smile can also help create a positive impression.
Another useful tip is to listen carefully to the interviewer.
Do not interrupt while they are speaking.
Wait until they finish the question.
Then answer clearly and calmly.
Sometimes people speak too quickly when they feel nervous.
Speaking slowly helps you sound more confident.
It also helps the interviewer understand you better.
Another important moment is the end of the interview.
The interviewer may ask if you have any questions.
It is always good to ask at least one question.
This shows that you are interested in the position.
For example, you might ask what a typical day in this job looks like.
You could also ask about future opportunities in the company.
Questions like these show curiosity and motivation.
Preparation and practice make interviews much easier.
The more you practice, the more confident you will feel.
And confidence always creates a better impression.
In the next part, we will continue sharing more practical interview advice. Another important part of a job interview is talking about your achievements.
Yes, many interviewers want to know what you have accomplished before.
They may ask, "Can you tell us about something you achieved at work?"
This is a good chance to show your value.
Try to explain the situation clearly.
Then describe what you did and what happened in the end.
For example, you might say, "I helped improve customer service in my team.
I listened carefully to customer feedback.
Then I suggested small changes to our process."
After that, customers were more satisfied with our service.
Stories like this help employers understand your abilities.
Another topic that appears in interviews is time management.
Employers want people who can organize their work well.
The interviewer might ask, how do you manage your time?
A good answer shows planning and discipline.
For example, you might say, I usually start by making a list of tasks.
Then I decide which tasks are most important.
This helps me stay organized during busy days.
Another question sometimes focuses on learning new skills.
Companies like employees who continue learning.
The interviewer may ask, "How do you improve your skills?"
You can talk about courses reading or practice.
For example, you might say, "I often watch training videos and read professional articles."
I also practice new skills whenever I have the opportunity.
This shows that you are motivated to grow.
Growth is very important in modern workplaces.
Another useful topic to prepare is teamwork conflicts.
Sometimes interviewers ask about disagreements with colleagues.
The question might be, how do you handle conflict in a team?
A good answer shows calm communication.
For example, you might say, "I try to listen to the other person first."
Then we discuss possible solutions together.
This approach helps avoid bigger problems.
Respectful communication is very important in any workplace.
Interviewers also observe your attitude during the conversation.
Being polite and positive creates a good impression.
Even simple things like saying thank you are important.
Another useful tip is to prepare examples before the interview.
Think about situations where you solved problems or helped a team.
These examples will make your answers stronger.
Preparation helps you feel calmer during the interview.
When you feel calm, your answers sound more natural.
And natural communication is always a good sign for employers.
Practice also helps you speak more clearly in English,
Confidence grows every time you practice.
and interviews become easier with experience.
In the next part, we will talk about the final stage of the interview.
We will also share a few last tips that can help you succeed.
Another moment many candidates think about is the final impression.
Yes, the last part of the interview is very important.
Even small details can make a difference.
One important tip is to stay positive until the interview ends.
Some people relax too early and stop focusing.
But the interviewer is still observing your behavior.
Confidence and politeness should continue until the end.
Another question that sometimes appears is about learning new tasks.
The interviewer may ask how quickly you learn new things.
Employers want people who adapt easily.
A good answer shows curiosity and motivation.
For example, you might say, I enjoy learning new skills and improving my abilities.
This shows that you are open to development.
Another useful topic is communication at work.
Good communication helps teams work better together.
The interviewer may ask how you communicate with colleagues.
You can say that you prefer clear and respectful communication.
Listening carefully is also a very important skill.
Good listeners often become strong team members.
Another important moment in the interview is asking your own questions.
Many candidates forget to prepare questions.
But asking questions shows interest in the job.
You might ask about the team or the working environment.
For example, you could ask what a normal working day looks like.
Or you might ask how the team usually works together.
These questions help you understand the job better.
They also show curiosity and motivation.
Another good tip is to show appreciation.
At the end of the interview, you can thank the interviewer.
A simple thank you for your time is always a good idea.
This leaves a polite and professional impression.
After the interview, it is also good to reflect on your answers.
Think about what went well and what you can improve.
Every interview is a learning experience.
The more interviews you attend, the more confident you become.
Preparation, practice, and confidence are the keys to success.
Even if an interview feels difficult, it is still valuable experience.
And each experience helps you grow.
With time, interviews will start to feel easier and more natural.
Confidence grows step by step.
And clear communication always helps you stand out.
In the next part, we will finish our discussion with a few final tips.
These final ideas can help you feel more prepared for your next interview. Hey, Emma, do you have a moment to talk?
Of course, Alex. What would you like to talk about today?
I've been thinking about learning English faster, but I'm not sure what the best method is.
That's a great topic because many people struggle with the same problem.
Sometimes I feel like I'm studying a lot, but not improving very quickly.
That feeling is very common when learning a new language.
What do you think is the most important skill to practice first?
I believe listening and speaking are the most important skills at the beginning.
Why listening and speaking instead of grammar?
Because language is mainly about communication, not just rules.
That makes sense because when children learn a language, they start by listening.
Exactly, they listen for months before they even try to speak.
So maybe adults should learn languages in a similar way.
Yes, listening helps your brain understand rhythm, pronunciation, and natural speech.
I usually watch English videos online to practice listening.
That's a very good method, especially if the videos have subtitles.
I like subtitles because they help me understand new words.
Subtitles can be very helpful, but sometimes it's good to listen without them too,
Why is that important?
because it trains your brain to recognize sounds without reading.
I never thought about it that way before.
Another helpful method is repeating sentences after you hear them.
You mean like shadowing?
Yes, exactly. Shadowing is a very powerful technique.
I've tried it a few times, but it felt a little strange.
It feels strange at first, but it becomes natural with practice.
How long should someone practice each day?
Even 10 or 15 minutes every day can make a big difference.
That doesn't sound too difficult to do.
Consistency is more important than studying for many hours once a week.
I think I often study a lot one day and then skip a few days.
Many learners do that, but small daily practice is much better.
Do you think speaking with other people is necessary?
Yes, real conversations help you build confidence and fluency.
Sometimes I feel nervous speaking English with others.
That's completely normal and happens to almost everyone.
I'm always afraid of making mistakes.
But mistakes are actually one of the best ways to learn.
I guess that is true because mistakes show what we need to improve.
Exactly. Every mistake is an opportunity to learn something new.
What about vocabulary? How should I learn new words?
It's better to learn words in sentences instead of memorizing lists.
That sounds easier to remember, actually.
Yes, because the sentence gives context and meaning.
I often forget words when I only memorize them from a list.
That's very common among language learners.
Reading short stories also helps me learn new words.
Reading is a great way to expand vocabulary naturally.
Sometimes I read simple English articles online.
That's perfect as long as the text is not too difficult.
If it's too difficult, I lose motivation quickly.
Exactly. The material should be challenging but still understandable.
Do you think watching movies helps with learning English?
Yes, movies are excellent because they show real conversations.
I enjoy watching movies in English with subtitles.
That's one of the most enjoyable ways to learn.
Learning should be fun. Otherwise, it becomes stressful.
Absolutely. Enjoying the process makes it easier to stay consistent.
I'm starting to feel more confident about my learning plan now.
That's great to hear. Confidence is very important.
Thank you for sharing these ideas with me.
You're welcome, Alex. I'm always happy to help.
Emma, do you think learning English becomes easier after some time?
Yes, Alex. Usually the first stage is the most difficult
Why is the beginning so challenging for many learners?
because everything feels new, including sounds, words, and grammar.
That explains why I felt confused when I first started learning.
But after some practice, your brain begins to recognize patterns.
Patterns like common phrases and expressions.
Exactly. And once you notice those patterns, you understand conversations faster.
I like learning useful phrases instead of only individual words.
That's a very effective strategy for speaking naturally.
Sometimes I hear people using expressions I have never studied before.
Many expressions are learned through listening to real conversations.
That means watching interviews or podcasts could be helpful.
Yes, podcasts are excellent for listening practice.
I often listen to English podcasts while walking outside.
That's a great way to use your time productively.
Sometimes I repeat sentences quietly while listening.
That's perfect because it trains both listening and speaking.
I guess practice like that helps pronunciation too.
Definitely, repeating native speakers helps you sound more natural.
Do you think pronunciation is very important?
Clear pronunciation helps people understand you more easily.
Sometimes I worry about having an accent.
Having an accent is completely normal and nothing to worry about.
So the goal should be clarity, not perfection.
Exactly, communication is always the most important goal.
I also like learning new idioms and expressions.
Idioms can make your English sound more natural and interesting.
But sometimes idioms are difficult to understand.
That's true because they often have meanings different from the words themselves.
Can you give an example of a simple idiom?
Sure, for example, the phrase piece of cake means something is very easy.
That's funny because it doesn't actually mean cake.
Yes, idioms often have humorous origins,
Learning them makes conversations more fun.
and they help you understand movies and TV shows better.
I noticed many idioms appear in everyday conversations.
Exactly, especially in informal situations.
Do you recommend writing practice as well?
Yes, writing helps organize your thoughts in English.
I sometimes write short journal entries in English.
That's an excellent habit for improving vocabulary.
Writing also shows me which words I don't know yet.
And then you can look them up and learn them.
I feel like learning English requires using many different skills.
That's correct. Listening, speaking, reading, and writing all work together.
When those skills improve together, learning becomes faster.
Exactly. They support each other like pieces of a puzzle.
I'm starting to enjoy the learning process more.
Enjoyment is a very powerful motivation.
If learning feels fun, it's easier to continue every day.
That's the secret to long-term improvement.
Thank you again, Emma, for all these helpful tips.
You're very welcome, Alex. Keep practicing and you will see great progress.
Emma, can I ask you something about motivation?
Of course, Alex. What is on your mind?
Sometimes I start learning with a lot of energy, but later I lose motivation.
That happens to many learners. Motivation can change over time.
How can someone stay motivated while learning English?
One good method is setting small and realistic goals.
What kind of goals do you mean?
For example, learning 5 new words a day or listening for 10 minutes daily.
That sounds much easier than trying to study for hours.
Exactly, small goals make progress feel achievable.
I think I sometimes set goals that are too big.
When goals are too big, they can feel overwhelming.
So smaller goals help us stay consistent.
Yes, consistency is the key to long-term success.
Another problem I have is forgetting words I already learned.
That is very normal because memory needs repetition.
So I should review vocabulary regularly.
Yes, Reviewing words after a few days helps them stay in your memory.
I have heard about flashcards for vocabulary practice.
Flashcards are very useful because they allow quick review.
Some apps even remind you when to review words.
That's called spaced repetition, and it works very well.
Technology really makes learning languages easier today.
Yes, there are many helpful tools online.
But sometimes too many resources can be confusing.
That's true. It's better to choose a few resources and use them consistently.
Do you think language exchange is helpful?
Absolutely. Speaking with native speakers is very valuable.
I tried a language exchange once online.
How was your experience?
At first I felt nervous, but then the conversation became easier.
That's usually how it works once you start speaking.
The other person was learning my language too.
That's the best part because both people help each other.
It feels more relaxed than a formal lesson.
Exactly. Conversations like that feel natural.
I think real conversations improve confidence the most.
Yes, confidence grows when you use the language in real situations.
Sometimes I also talk to myself in English.
That is actually a very useful practice method.
Really? I thought it was a strange habit.
Not at all. It helps you think in English.
Thinking in English sounds like an advanced skill.
It develops gradually with practice.
So one day I might think in English automatically.
Yes, that happens to many language learners.
That would be a big achievement for me.
And it shows that your brain is becoming comfortable with the language.
I'm beginning to see that patience is very important.
Patience and consistency are the most important qualities.
I will try to remember that during my learning journey.
And remember to celebrate small improvements.
That's a good idea because progress can sometimes be hard to notice.
Exactly, but every small improvement brings you closer to fluency.
Emma, do you think traveling helps people learn English faster?
Yes, Alex, traveling can be very helpful for language learning.
Why does traveling improve language skills so much?
Because you are surrounded by the language all the time.
That means you hear English everywhere during the day.
Exactly. In shops, restaurants, airports, and conversations.
I imagine that situation forces people to speak more.
Yes, when you need something, you must communicate.
Sometimes pressure can actually help learning.
That's true because it pushes you to use the language actively.
I once visited another country and tried to speak English.
Were you nervous when you started speaking?
Yes. At first I felt very shy and unsure.
That is completely normal in a new environment.
But after a few conversations, I felt more comfortable.
That's because your brain adapts quickly when you practice.
I also learned many useful phrases during that trip.
Real situations often teach practical vocabulary.
For example, ordering food or asking for directions.
Exactly. Those everyday situations are perfect practice.
I remember asking someone how to find a train station.
And did they understand you easily?
Yes. And that gave me a lot of confidence.
Confidence grows when communication is successful.
Do you think traveling alone is better for language learning?
Traveling alone can encourage more conversations with strangers.
Because you cannot rely on friends to speak for you.
Exactly, you become more independent in communication.
I think that experience can improve listening skills too.
Yes, because people speak with different accents and speeds,
At first, that can be difficult to understand.
but your ears quickly become used to different voices.
I like the idea of learning through real-life experiences.
Language learning becomes much more exciting that way.
Even simple conversations can teach many new words,
And those words are easier to remember later.
because they are connected to real memories.
Exactly, emotional experiences strengthen memory.
Maybe that's why students remember travel stories so well.
Yes, memories connected to experiences stay longer.
I hope I can travel again and practice English more.
That would be a wonderful opportunity for learning.
Until then, I will continue practicing every day.
That's the best thing you can do.
I feel like my confidence has already improved.
And that confidence will keep growing with practice.
Thank you, Emma, for another inspiring conversation.
You're welcome, Alex. I enjoy discussing language learning with you.
These talks always motivate me to continue improving.
Motivation is one of the strongest tools for success.
I will remember that and keep practicing daily.
And your English will continue to improve step by step.
Emma, after all our conversations, I feel much more confident about learning English.
I'm very happy to hear that, Alex. Confidence makes a big difference.
Before, I thought learning a language was almost impossible.
Many people feel that way at the beginning.
Now I realize it is more about daily practice and patience.
Exactly. Language learning is a long journey.
I like the idea of improving step by step every day.
Small progress each day leads to big results over time.
Sometimes I try to imagine myself speaking English fluently.
Visualization can be a powerful motivation tool.
It helps me stay excited about my goals.
Goals give direction to your learning journey.
I think my next goal is to have longer conversations in English.
That is a wonderful goal to work toward.
I also want to understand movies without subtitles someday.
With enough listening practice, that goal is definitely possible.
Listening used to be very difficult for me.
But now your ears are becoming more familiar with sounds.
I can already understand more words than before.
That is a clear sign of progress.
Sometimes I notice that I even think in English for a moment.
That means your brain is adapting to the language.
It feels like a small victory every time it happens.
Celebrating small victories is very important.
Learning English is starting to feel enjoyable instead of stressful.
Enjoyment makes learning much more sustainable.
I think curiosity also helps a lot.
Curiosity keeps your mind open to new knowledge.
When I hear new words, I want to understand their meaning.
That curiosity helps you expand your vocabulary naturally.
I also like learning about culture through language.
Language and culture are closely connected.
Understanding culture makes conversations more interesting.
Yes, it helps you understand jokes, expressions, and traditions.
I hope one day I can travel and use English confidently.
That would be an amazing experience.
Meeting people from different countries sounds exciting.
And language makes those connections possible.
I'm grateful that I started learning English.
It opens many opportunities in life.
Thank you, Emma, for sharing so much helpful advice.
You're welcome, Alex. I enjoyed our conversations very much.
Talking about learning always motivates me to continue.
Motivation and practice will guide you to success.
I will keep practicing every day from now on.
and your English will continue improving naturally.
I'm looking forward to our next conversation.
Me too, Alex. Learning together makes the journey easier.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to our English Conversation podcast today.
Hi, everyone. I hope you are hungry today.
Why should they be hungry, Alex?
Because today we are talking about food. Delicious food.
Oh no, now I am already hungry again.
Emma, you are always hungry during podcasts.
That is not true, Alex.
Last episode, you talked about pizza for 20 minutes.
Pizza is very important for English learning.
Really, how does pizza help learning English?
Because everyone loves pizza, so everyone wants to talk about it.
That is actually a very good point.
Today we will talk about favorite foods and funny food stories.
And maybe we will make you laugh a little.
Or maybe we will make you very hungry.
If you are eating right now, you're very lucky.
Alex, what is your favorite food?
My favorite food is pizza, of course.
I knew you would say pizza.
Pizza is simple, delicious, and very friendly.
Friendly food sounds very funny.
Pizza never judges your life decisions.
That is true. Pizza always supports you emotionally.
Especially after a long, difficult day.
Yes, pizza understands our feelings very well.
Emma, what is your favorite food?
I really love burgers and pasta.
Burgers are amazing, but they are dangerous sometimes.
Why are burgers dangerous, Alex?
Because you always want to eat another one.
That is actually very true,
One burger is never enough sometimes.
especially when the burger smells incredible.
Good food always smells wonderful.
Sometimes food smells so good that you smile immediately.
I once smiled at a pizza like a crazy person.
That sounds a little strange, Alex.
Maybe a little strange, but very honest.
Food can make people very happy sometimes.
Yes, good food can change your entire mood.
When I eat good food, I feel relaxed and comfortable.
When I eat bad food, I feel very sad.
Nobody wants bad food during dinner.
Bad food is one of life's biggest disappointments.
Imagine waiting 20 minutes for terrible pizza.
That situation is truly heartbreaking.
Alex, do you like cooking food yourself?
I like cooking, but my kitchen is sometimes dangerous.
Dangerous Kitchen sounds like a comedy movie.
One time I burned pasta completely.
Wait, how do you burn pasta?
I forgot water inside the pot.
That sounds like a cooking disaster.
Yes, it smelled terrible everywhere.
Did you still eat the pasta?
No, even the pasta looked very angry.
Angry pasta is a very funny idea.
Emma, are you a good cook?
I think I am a pretty good cook.
What is your best dish?
My pasta with tomato sauce is amazing.
Now I am definitely getting hungry again.
Maybe after this podcast we should eat something.
That sounds like the best plan today.
Dear listeners, what is your favorite food?
Maybe you love pizza, burgers, or sushi.
Or maybe you love something sweet like cake.
Chocolate cake always makes people smile.
Except people who eat too much cake.
Yes, then they need a long walk.
A long walk and maybe some vegetables.
Vegetables are healthy, but not always exciting,
Some vegetables are actually very delicious.
especially when someone else cooks them.
Alex, that is a very honest answer. Alex, do you enjoy cooking food at home regularly?
Yes, Emma, I enjoy cooking simple meals after work.
What kind of meals do you usually cook at home?
I usually cook rice, vegetables, and grilled chicken.
That sounds like a healthy and balanced meal.
Yes, I try to cook food that is healthy and tasty.
Do you cook every day or only sometimes?
I usually cook about 4 or 5 times each week.
That is impressive because many people rarely cook today.
Yes, many people prefer ordering food online nowadays.
Food delivery services are extremely popular these days.
That is true because ordering food online is very convenient.
Do you sometimes order food when you feel tired?
Yes, I sometimes order food after a very long day.
What food do you usually order from restaurants?
I often order pizza, burgers, or spicy noodles.
Those foods are very popular comfort foods worldwide.
Yes, comfort food often makes people feel relaxed and happy.
My favorite comfort food is definitely a large pizza.
Pizza is popular because it has many delicious toppings.
What toppings do you usually choose for your pizza?
I usually choose cheese, mushrooms, chicken, and fresh tomatoes.
That combination sounds very delicious and satisfying.
Yes, pizza is one of my favorite foods ever.
Have you ever tried cooking pizza at home before?
Yes, I once tried cooking pizza with my friends.
Was it easy to cook pizza at home?
It was not perfect, but the pizza tasted amazing.
Cooking with friends can be very fun and memorable.
Yes, cooking together creates many happy memories.
I completely agree because food connects people naturally.
That is why many families enjoy eating meals together.
Family dinners are very important in many cultures.
When I was younger, my family always ate dinner together.
What kind of meals did your family cook?
My mother often cooked soup, rice, vegetables, and meat.
Homemade food often tastes better than restaurant food.
Yes, homemade meals are usually cooked with love.
That is a beautiful way to describe home cooking.
Thank you, Emma. Food is more than something we eat.
Yes, food is an important part of culture.
Every country has special dishes and cooking traditions.
That is why traveling and tasting new food is exciting.
Many travelers enjoy trying local food in new countries.
Trying new food can be a wonderful experience.
Sometimes people discover their favorite food while traveling.
Have you ever tried a food that surprised you?
Yes, once I tried extremely spicy street food.
Did you enjoy the spicy food eventually?
At first it was difficult, but later I enjoyed it.
Many people slowly learn to enjoy spicy food.
Yes, our tastes often change with experience.
Food really has an amazing power to connect people.
Yes, sharing meals often creates strong friendships.
After this conversation, I feel very hungry.
Me too. Talking about food always makes me hungry.
Maybe we should cook something delicious tonight.
That sounds like a wonderful idea tonight.
Alex, do you usually eat breakfast every morning?
Yes, Emma. I try to eat breakfast every day.
Many people skip breakfast because they are busy.
That is true, but breakfast gives energy for the day.
What do you usually eat for breakfast?
I usually eat eggs, toast, and sometimes fresh fruit.
That sounds like a healthy and simple breakfast.
Yes, simple breakfasts are usually the best choice.
Do you drink coffee or tea in the morning?
I usually drink coffee because it helps me wake up.
Coffee is very popular in many countries.
Yes, some people cannot start their day without coffee.
I sometimes prefer drinking tea in the morning.
Tea can also be very relaxing and refreshing.
Do you ever eat breakfast at restaurants or cafes?
Yes, sometimes I go to a small cafe near my house.
What food do they serve at that cafe?
They serve pancakes, eggs, sandwiches, and fresh coffee.
Pancakes sound delicious, especially with honey or syrup.
Yes, pancakes with honey are very tasty.
Do you enjoy sweet food in the morning?
Sometimes I enjoy sweet food, but not every day.
Many people like sweet pastries for breakfast.
Yes, croissants and donuts are popular breakfast foods.
Those foods taste good, but are not always healthy.
That is true because they often contain sugar.
Healthy food choices are important for our bodies.
Yes, eating balanced meals helps people stay strong.
Do you usually eat lunch at home or outside?
I usually eat lunch at work during my break.
What kind of food do you eat for lunch?
I often eat rice with vegetables and grilled chicken.
That meal sounds filling and nutritious.
Yes, it gives me energy for the afternoon.
Do your co-workers eat lunch together sometimes?
Yes, we often sit together and talk during lunch.
Eating with friends makes meals more enjoyable.
I completely agree because conversations make meals better.
What is your favorite lunch dish?
I really enjoy noodle soup with vegetables and meat.
Soup is comforting, especially during cold weather.
Yes, warm soup feels very relaxing and satisfying.
Do you cook lunch at home sometimes?
Sometimes I prepare lunch at home before work.
Preparing food at home can save money.
Yes, and homemade food often tastes better.
What about dinner, Alex? What do you usually eat?
Dinner is usually my biggest meal of the day.
Many families enjoy eating dinner together in the evening.
Yes, dinner is often a time for family conversations.
What meals do you usually cook for dinner?
I sometimes cook pasta with vegetables and tomato sauce.
Pasta is a popular dinner meal worldwide.
Yes, pasta is easy to cook and very filling.
Do you enjoy cooking dinner for friends sometimes?
Yes, cooking dinner for friends can be very fun.
What food do you cook when friends visit?
I often cook grilled chicken, rice, and a salad.
That sounds like a delicious dinner for guests.
My friends usually enjoy those simple meals.
Cooking together can also be a fun activity.
Yes, preparing food together creates happy memories.
Food really brings people closer together.
I agree because sharing meals builds strong friendships.
After this conversation, I feel hungry again.
Talking about food always makes people hungry.
Maybe we should find something tasty to eat.
That sounds like a perfect idea right now.
Alex, today I want to talk about street food.
Street food is very interesting and popular worldwide.
Many cities are famous for their street food markets.
Yes, people enjoy buying quick and delicious meals outside.
Have you ever tried street food in another country?
Yes, I tried street food when I traveled last year.
What kind of street food did you try there?
I tried grilled meat, spicy noodles, and fried rice.
Those foods sound delicious and very flavorful.
Yes, street food often has very strong flavors.
Emma, many travelers say street food shows real local culture.
That is true because local people eat that food daily.
Street food is usually cheaper than restaurant meals.
Yes, that is another reason why people like it.
Some street food vendors cook food very quickly.
Watching them cook food can be very entertaining.
Do you like watching people prepare food outside?
Yes, it is interesting to see how food is made.
Some vendors use special recipes and cooking styles.
That makes their food unique and memorable.
What street food would you like to try next?
I would like to try traditional tacos from Mexico.
Tacos are very famous and loved worldwide.
Yes, tacos are simple but extremely delicious.
What ingredients are usually inside tacos?
Usually meat, vegetables, cheese, and tasty sauces.
That combination sounds very exciting and flavorful.
Yes, street food often mixes many strong flavors together.
Some people worry about street food hygiene sometimes.
That is true, but many vendors keep their food clean.
Choosing busy food stalls is usually a good idea.
Yes, busy stalls usually serve fresh food quickly.
Fresh food is always better for health.
I completely agree with that idea.
Street food also allows people to try many small meals.
Yes, people can taste different dishes easily.
That makes street food markets very exciting places.
Many tourists love visiting famous night food markets.
Night markets are very popular in many Asian cities.
They often have bright lights and amazing smells.
Food smells can make people very hungry quickly.
Yes, delicious smells attract many hungry visitors.
Do you enjoy eating food outside at night?
Yes, eating outside at night feels relaxing sometimes.
Many people enjoy late night snacks.
Yes, snacks like noodles or grilled meat are popular.
After this conversation, I want to visit a food market.
Me too, street food always sounds very exciting.
Maybe one day we can travel and try many foods.
That would be a wonderful food adventure together.
Alex, I want to ask one final question today.
Okay, Emma, I am ready for your question.
Imagine you can eat only one food forever.
Only one food for my entire life.
Yes, just one food every single day.
That sounds very difficult to choose.
Come on, Alex, you must choose one food.
I think I will choose pizza forever.
Pizza again. You always choose pizza.
Pizza is perfect because it has many toppings.
But eating pizza every day sounds crazy.
Maybe a little crazy, but still very delicious.
What about vegetables and healthy food?
I will put vegetables on my pizza.
That is a very funny solution.
Pizza can solve many life problems.
I think pizza cannot solve every problem.
It can solve the problem of hunger.
That is actually very true.
Emma, what food would you choose forever?
I think I would choose noodles every day.
Noodles are also a very good choice.
Yes, noodles are simple and very tasty.
But imagine eating noodles every single day.
That might become boring after some time.
Yes, maybe after 2 weeks I would miss burgers.
And I would definitely miss chocolate cake.
Life without desserts sounds very sad.
Yes, desserts make life much sweeter.
Now I feel extremely hungry again.
Me too, talking about food is dangerous.
Yes, food conversations always create hunger.
Maybe we should stop talking and start eating.
That sounds like the best idea today.
What should we eat first?
Everything we talked about today.
That would be a very big meal.
Yes, but at least we will be happy.
Okay, Alex, let's go find some food.
Yes, let's end this podcast and go eat.
Thank you, everyone, for listening today.
And remember, never listen to food podcasts while hungry.
Because you will definitely become hungry. Goodbye, everyone, and enjoy your next meal.